God, what the hell is that?
I'm the sheriff. I'm the sheriff.
You're the police, where are your badges? I don't have to show you any stinking badges.
That's because I'm a star. I'm a genuine sports personality. A legendary folk hero.
Jesus Christ.
There he is. Very baddest cat in the joke. Even the guards are terrified of him.
You can call me when I have to call my lawyer. They bring me a telephone. Would you like to leave me your home phone number?
I don't want to hear any of this. I don't want to hear no more of this.
Wait a minute, I'm just getting to the weird part.
The weed part.
Yeah, it gets weird.
Say we take off, leave the site from orbit. It's the only way to be sure. Let's do it.
Can you do that?
I can do anything. I'm the chief of police.
It's the end of the week as we know it. I had that song stuck in my head this morning. I don't know. I have no idea why. Thought it was kind of funny. I'm like, it's a good one. I had decided before I even got out of bed, I'm like, it's going to be a good one today. I dig me some Friday Chill Stream. Oh, it is Friday. Wait a minute. Hang on. There we go. Get that bullshit little quiet applause out of here. I love that Marianne started a thing. She shows up like 5th or something this morning. Good morning. Here's what's going on already. 8:30 it starts. Wayfarers in here, 08:30. Doing the work, carrying the load. And Donna shows up like, dang it. Spider pulling up in the bronze medal category. One day I'll make it. Yeah. Not today, brother. Got to get up pretty early in the morning to get in the door first around here. Oh, man. God bless you, everybody. Welcome aboard. It is Friday. We are going to kick back and have a laugh. Man, I was doing show prep, and there's all kind of crazy. I was doing it yesterday afternoon. Actually, I was kind of getting hepped up for Saturday's gig. We got me and Spider and Darth and Cole Hauser, Canadian Colossus, going to show up. We're going to bust on some William Friedkin stuff. And, man, I was going over those movies. I'm like, God dang, he made some good films. You could, one or two of them in there, you could put in that Critical Drinkers production hell category. Some of those got way sideways, especially The Exorcist. There was a lot of, this show was cursed and this and that. Well, man, when you film for over 200 days in principal photography, some people are going to die in that span. It's most of a year, man. Some people, you're going to have accidents. You're shooting all the time. It's going to be a good time, though. 7 o'clock tomorrow night, Central, 8 Eastern, 6 if you're in that mountain category. If you're on the West Coast, get out while you can. Don't even watch the show. Just spend all your time loading up the U-Haul, getting yourself out of town. Holy mother of pearl. The mariachis were standing too close to me in the studio this morning. Back up, fellas. There we go. Which is hard for them to do because this ain't a big studio. I had to put them in the closet. That's what they sound like through the closet door. I'm sure I'm violating several OSHA and employment rules, keeping an entire mariachi band in a closet like that. But, better than Guadalajara. If you've never been to Jalisco in Mexico, don't. I've tried it. You won't dig it. That's mean. Most of Mexico is actually very nice. I've been down there a couple of times. I haven't been down there in some time. I haven't been down there for at least 10 years. Some of it's okay, but man, is it getting sketchy down there. I'd stopped going about 10 years ago. I'm like, nah. Oh my goodness. You got just due to live and die. I wouldn't recommend anybody rewatch The Exorcist. Actually, I'll tell you what, you do it. Because I ain't rewatching it. You do it. And take notes. One time and for that thing was enough for me. We're like, nah. I ain't doing that twice in a lifetime. I get it. I was watching the show this morning. I got up early, was dogging the dogs, and got everything taken care of. And then I said, I'm going to make the intro to the show today. So I sat down. I was watching Jay. I ain't going to lie. About 10 minutes in, I was starting to worry about that kid. Man, calm down, brother. Calm down. Yeah, I wouldn't either. Donna House, I won't rewatch The Exorcist. I don't think anybody ever. You know what's amazing to me? I was doing background on that show. That thing was in the theaters on and off, like on a continuous run. And when I say on and off, I mean numbers wise for theaters for distribution across the country. That thing was in theaters for almost 2 years straight. I found that extremely hard to believe. I thought, holy shit, people are masochists. They had a lot of hype around it. People hyperventilating and having heart attacks and puking in the theaters and all that. And I'm like, yeah, I believe that. Believe that wholeheartedly. I no. It was not in the theater when I saw it. It was much later in life that I saw it, and that was enough for me. Morning, everybody. Morning, Cole. Yeah, he's taking one. Darth Yeager, it's for work, man. It's for posterity. I'm taking one for the team. God bless you, sir. Get out there, trooper. Get out there and handle her. Let me know how that goes. I recommend a couple of stiff drinks before you do that. Kind of take the edge off. I heard Richard Pryor did an opening to a Saturday Night Live show one time, and he was making jokes on the opening, and he was talking about movies, and he said, man, white dudes that drop acid, because he was talking about his drug of choice, and he said, white dudes will drop acid and go see The Exorcist. And I thought, and the crowd laughed, but it was a nervous kind of laugh, like most of them in that studio in your typical Saturday Night Live crowd was like, I don't think that's a good idea. And you didn't have to go too far down the road with them. They could imagine that just fine. And they were like, no, thank you. No, thank you. That's going to be the one that we do that, traumatic enough seeing it once. You ain't lying, Marianne. That's going to be the one. I'm not going to do the story a whole lot. Just I'll tease it a little bit. I'm more of a background guy on some stuff. But that one in particular, I'm just doing background on that. Anybody else wants to talk about their favorite scenes and all that bullshit, you can. I'm going to since Darth's going in there and taking one for a team, I'm going to let him tell the tale because he's pretty good at that. I'll let him handle it. No, thank you. Here you go, Donna. I was like, well, I'll tell you about the nursing home story I have related to The Exorcist. No, thank you. I don't even like stories about that. It was everything I could do to read through some of the backstory stuff and go out and do a little investigation and look up some of the stuff I had heard. And man, it was, I do love that William Peter Blatty was actually a seminary student who hung it up, decided to become a writer. And that was his way of getting people. He's like, people for some reason won't believe in God, but they believe all day long in the devil. So let's do this. And he went about it that way. And I thought, that's pretty smart. Trick him into it. And he did pin people down in their beliefs. I hope everybody's had a good week so far. Man, Wednesday was a banger. Yesterday was fun. Wednesday's a banger. I don't know what it is about Wednesday's show. I'll ask y'all, is it because we go long? I mean, I get killer views on Wednesdays. Either people just seem to have plenty of time on Wednesday to go back and rewatch, but Wednesdays do well. And Wednesday's show was the highest ever yet. It was the first time that I looked at analytics, and it was specifically because I wanted to see what was going on Wednesdays. And I'm like, okay, It's not me. I'm not making that up. Wednesday's a big day. I don't know what the deal is. And then I realized, oh, that's the day that you go over, roll into daily. So maybe it's just the longer shows. Maybe it's me. Maybe I'm just, by Wednesday, I don't give a shit anymore. It's just time to be funny. I'm like, I don't care. I don't care about the news. I don't care about format. I don't care about anything. Let's talk about funny stuff. Then Thursday, I go, okay, we better go back to serious showtime. And then that goes, and I'm like, nah, hell with that. Let's just slide into a Friday show. And then Fridays are fun because nobody cares. We're just talking about gaming and movies and all kind of fun stuff. I got a couple of good stories today. Some fun stuff. I had two that I found that I just thought were funny. They're kind of hangers on from, oh, hey, Zephyr, what's up? Can't stay. Oh, happy Friday. Thank you, Zephyr. That was nice. Can't stay. Just want to come in and say happy Friday. And look who got in early for it. Hey, what is going on, Jerry D? Jerry D. Sills. I'm going to leave that up there for a second. Everybody can check it out. Jerry shows up with a little gift for everybody. Thank you, man. I would have preferred, muffins, but I'm just teasing, man. That's cool. Thank you. Yeah, Fridays are good. Mostly I was kicking around with gaming news and movie stuff, and it's pretty standard fare. I did find a couple interesting ones, so we'll hit on that. See what's what. Might do a little gaming later on after the show. I got no chores today, plus it's raining, so I'm like, this would be a good day to bust out OBS, play some Last Epoch. I got a couple of characters going on there that we can hook on that. You can't cook? All right. Hey, man, go with what you know. You're a poet. You ain't supposed to be able to cook. Just write good words. There you go. Stick with what you know. See, now I've started a thing. Everybody's hungry. Next week I'll hand out breakfast burritos to everybody. Only they call them tacos here for some strange. I look at it and I go, you can call this a taco. I'm pretty sure it's a burrito. And then the people inside the window, because where I live, that's where you go buy your breakfast stuff from, all your real Mexican food. They're tiny little shacks, and it's just like a cook area and then a window. And they hand it to you. And I go, hey, man, this is not a taco. This is a burrito. And they go, okay. And I'm like, nothing. Never mind. Forget it. Because my Spanish is worse than your English, and it would take us an hour and a half to settle the taco burrito dispute. I've taken to like pointing at the board. They got to lean out the window. I'm like, right here. My Spanish is so bad. I need to pick that up. I can speak it. I just haven't done it so long. It's such a perishable skill. I just got dropped right back in the middle of it. I'm like, I got to go back to watching. This is a true story. I'm not going to lie. I was at that Spanish school down in Mexico, and the most I learned, the best way I learned, I was watching Friends on Mexican television. So it was in Spanish, but it was not dubbed, but it had the closed caption was in English. I'm like, okay. So I'd put that on and watch it. That sunk in pretty good. I'm like, all right, fair enough. Now I got to get back on the horse. Hopefully they got Seinfeld on Mexican TV that I can get down here, because I can't do Friends again. Once on that horse is enough for me. Let's go over to blues. Let's do that. Jerry comes in. He's extorting things from, hey, where's my shockwave? Oh, man, holy cow. What kind of side deal you guys got going on here? What happened? Oh, boy. Darth Yeager giving burrito advice. Best breakfast burritos in all of North America can be found at Beaver Taco in Beaver, Utah. Now, not having been to Beaver, Utah, I can't dispute that outright. I will say you got kind of an uphill battle against some of the joints in the greater Houston area. I can tell you, especially down towards the beach. Man, we got some dandies down here. And you better learn at least enough Spanish to be able to order food, because the folks working in there. This is a funny story. I roll up to this local joint that I go to. This little taqueria that I roll up to, but 16 times a week. And on the window, they have a sign. Now, it's not just help on it. This is a handwritten sign. It's in magic marker, little piece of cardboard. It's in magic marker. And I won't do the whole phrase, but essentially in Spanish, they said, we're looking for a bilingual cashier and apply within. And now their version of apply within is, very simple. It's key. But I'm reading this and I got tickled because they spelled aquí, which is spelled AQUI. They spell it AKI. And I'm like, beautiful. So you're illiterate in 2 languages. Love it. I am on board. I might have to apply at this joint. That's the level of professional Spanish speaking you're going to get out of me. We got a thing. I thought that was funny. Like, man, I thought it was just me. Nope. Everybody screws that up. Let's do Tiny Town Bisected by the I-15. Highly recommend. Okay. If I ever get out that way again, I'll roll through Beaver, Utah. I'll look it up and just make a trip through there and go, Darth said it was a pretty good town. We'll go roll through there. I don't know. just Shockwave's my prize. All 6 of them. Man, I sent last night, I was watching the show, Cole Hauser, for anybody that didn't get a chance to see it. And that's probably everybody here was there, but Cole was doing the Star Wars and had all the fellas on. Ronan, Isaac, and Ryan Kinnell was the center square. And I'm watching, and somebody mentioned the Star Wars original VHS box set. And Cole just reaches, didn't look around or nothing, just reaches down with his left hand and whip, just pulls up a perfectly wrapped, unopened original box set of the VHS Star Wars OT. And I'm like, okay, that's enough. So I sent in a chat. I go, man, do you never open anything you buy, or do you just buy 2 of everything so that you can use one and keep the other for posterity? Like someday. And it's not just stuff from like 2 months ago when you started your channel. I could go, all right, show me a 1991 G.I. Joe, whatever. Show me Snake Eyes version, whatever. And he could just reach behind him and snap. It's like looking at Nerdrotic and all the action figures he's got behind him. He could just reach behind him and snatch whatever I said right off the wall, unopened, and go, here. I'm like, were you born going, one of these days I'm going to be on YouTube and I'm going to have one of every Hasbro or Mattel G.I. Joe and Transformer action figure ever made, and all of the movies and everything? I'm like, holy cow. I mean, I'm rat packy, but my goodness. I opened some of them. I doubt that. I'm going to do that. From now on, every show you do, I'm going to go find some. I'm going to get on the internet. I'm going to find some obscure, they made 30 of these in the entire universe, G.I. Joe action figures, and pull one out of the blue and go, hey, you got one of these? And you'll just whip around behind you. Go, yeah, it's right here. I'm like, God dang it. Is it open? You'd be like, nope. God dang it. How does he do that? When did you? And it's not one of those, I bought it at auction, a month ago or anything like that. It'll be, yeah, I bought this when I was 6. Held on to it ever since. I'm like, stop it. I thought me and my hockey stuff was bad enough. Well, this is when I ran into Rob Blake, and this is when I ran into Joey Sakic, and this is when I ran into Peter Forsberg. This is when I met Patty Watt, such and such. I have that stuff. I won't have the entire catalog that some of you all collectors have got unopened from the time you were 4. Hey, Zach, welcome back. I told you we'd do another show, that you'd be able to get in early on. Here we are. Welcome aboard. Here you go. The Star Trek collection. I got a rare board game from 67 or 68. Man, you guys are out of control. I love it. I love seeing that kind of thing, man. Hey, I was thinking about this the other day. I was looking at some of my collectible stuff. It's not so much entertainment things. I do have some rare and one of a kind entertainment type stuff. I do not have anywhere near the level that you guys got. I also have some rare one of a kind. My stuff is mostly sports memorabilia, specifically hockey memorabilia. I think outside of that, I might have a, Leroy Selman autographed football around somewhere. I got a jersey from the first Denver Bronco that was in the Hall of Fame. All kinds of, like weird, specific stuff like that. And the rest of it's all hockey stuff. It's usually from guys that I've run into. I go, hey man, I carry around, go to wherever you're going and just happen to have a spare hockey puck in your pocket, and people look at you weird, like, what are you doing with that? You'll see. Just watch. Hang around me long enough, you'll see. Sure enough, one day you run it. Hey, isn't that Rob Blake? I'm like, yep. And then reach in your back pocket and go, hey Rob, toss him a hockey puck. Do me a favor? And be like, sure. I'll buy you a beer. And you go, wow, absolutely. I'll sign both sides. Perfect. So I got a bunch of stuff like that. And then I'm watching y'all get down on, I got one of those, and it's unopened and blah. And I go, holy shit, these guys are serious. I thought I was bad. I'm not. And then if I have it, my problem is if I get them and then I put them somewhere and then I forget where I put them, or I make a move because we move a lot, and then they don't make the move, and then I feel like shit for a year or two. Felt bad for Gary. He was telling his tale one day about how he had his comic shop and he had to sell everything and had a relapse. I'm like, man, I know that feeling. The magic comic box that taught my daughter to read, that one didn't make one of the moves that we made. And boy, to this day, I've lost a lot of things in moves, but to this day, that's the one that gets me. Hell, I got so many family ashes, I could lose a urn of ashes and still have 3 more of the same relative. I lose one of those, I go, no, I didn't make the move. But that comic box, boy, that busted me. They weren't even perfectly preserved or any of that nonsense. They were just kind of, they just meant something to me. Then I'd tell my kid, hey, Beast, morning, brother, how are you? How you doing, man? I'm glad you were along for the ride. Welcome aboard. Yeah, that was the one that kind of busted me up, that comic box. But that's okay. And here's why I say that, because my daughter, and I've told the story before, you guys would be like, okay, quit telling the story about the comic box. My daughter one day found out it didn't make the move, and I was pretty broke up. I'm sure my eyes were getting wet when I was telling her, and she just looked at me and didn't skip a beat. She just goes, that's okay, Dad, we'll start a new box. And I was like, God love you, kid. You're just the best. She's so much better than me at that kind of stuff. I get all twisted up. Not her. She's like, just things, Dad. We can replace things. Can't replace that. That's how we all got along and learned to read and all that. You can't replace those times. The box didn't mean anything. It was the times that we had. She's coming out this summer too. I'm getting all juiced up. Should be out here come July. Blow off some fireworks. Roll over to Houston for a game. Go down to the beach every day. That'll be good. That's a good time. I'm looking forward to that. She told me she took some time off work. I'm like, sweet. Let's do it. Speaking of let's do it, let's get this out of the way real quick. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on them these days. I just had a couple of stories I thought were pretty funny. This was my favorite. From the mouths of babes and madmen. John Fetterman. Just something about this dude just makes me giggle. I don't know what it is, man. He's just this big old lurch-looking, goofy son of a gun. Shows up to Congress in Carhartts and a hoodie. All right, man. That's my kind of dude right there. He said some goofy things to start with, but boy, after that stroke, that's a guy that got mugged by reality right there. He's like, I'm good. He said, American media is carrying water for Iran. He was trying to skirt it. I'm not going to do his whole speech, but there was a couple of parts in this very short story. Shout out to Breitbart, by the way. Once again, every site you go to, every site you see on my show, I'm going to throw this standing warning out there. Be forewarned. You may run it. The internet is an adult place. You're going to run into opinions that you don't like. So let's just get that out there. Anyway, Jesse Waters had Fetterman on. Fetterman says, I can't speak for other Democrats, but the American media has essentially become carrying water for Iran. Not really how I would have worded that, but stroke victim. I'll give him that. They're describing the kinds of circumstances. This is him being careful. They're describing the kinds of circumstances, and then they forget the way Iran has behaved. That's a dude trying to, here's to me what he's trying to say. Hey, man, remember what I said yesterday on this show about Iran and how if you ever had to pick one group of people on the planet you wanted to get it on with and get them out of the way? There you go. That's him saying that, but in a politician kind of way. So that was from the mouths of babes and madmen file for the day. I love when people get mugged by reality and decide they're going to go ahead and tell the truth. Like, you know what? There's no way to sugarcoat this one. And we got that one. Here's another good one. This is kind of, it's been sort of hypocrisy week on the show. And I saw this one this morning. I'm like, yeah, that'll fit the bill pretty good. That'll round the week out nicely. If you ever think politics isn't theater and it's not a game and it's not all bullshit, Georgia Republican candidate donated to Kinzinger, Adam Kinzinger, by the way, if you don't know who he is, go out and look him up. Pretty strong lefty weirdo. Said Trump can't go down in political flames fast enough. He's a Republican. That's the head of your party. He can't go down in flames fast enough. It's wrestling, man. Politics is all wrestling. And people are doing heel turns and babyface turns and all kind of shit. I'm tired of it. I'm over it this week. I did enough of it this week. I'm like, yeah, we ain't doing that. I ain't even going to read the story. That's how bullshit that story was. I was going to go down the line. I looked at it and I'm like, you know what? I ain't even going to waste time on that. Hey, Jim, your first McCoy Live. Well, welcome. Friday's a good day to do that, man. Friday is a good day to do that because we're going to cut up and just smoke and joke and have a good time. Deb Bozart 5, excuse me. Forgot that on the end. Good morning. Good to see you. Yeah, I was looking at that John Cowan. That's the Republican, the Georgia Republican who the story was about. He's running for a seat that was vacated, so it's kind of he can just shoot the moon, say whatever he wants. You're going to see that. There's going to be plenty of people that, and these are guys that are trying to sop up the middle. Is what they're doing. Sop up the independents. Yeah, all right, do whatever you do your thing, man. I'm not a Bible scholar. We know this. There is a part in the Bible where the Lord is talking to the churches and tells the church of Philadelphia, because you're neither hot nor cold, because you're lukewarm, I'm going to spit you out. That's pretty much the Lord's way of saying, take a stand, man. I don't care what it is, but take a stand. And when you don't, I kind of go with that. I don't mind you being, let me back up for a second, because I'm railing on absolutists all week. I'm not saying be an absolutist, but I am saying, have the courage of your convictions. Don't get out there and then 2 weeks later go, I'm going to sop up the drippings because everybody else seems to be twisted up about something. I get tired of people hyperventilate about stupid shit, and then the whole world's coming apart. You're like, oh my God. I always think about that donkey in Animal Farm. Benjamin. Donkeys live a long time. None of you have seen a dead donkey. All he ever said in the whole thing. Just telling everybody how stupid they were being. Like, look, I've seen it all. There's nothing you can tell me that's going to surprise me at this point. And stop hyperventilating about shit. This occurred to me the other day, too. People, how do I put this? Me and Mrs. McCoy was having a talk one day about, we don't do this. I don't do it much on the show. We're fairly, I wouldn't say, oh God, how do I put this? We're very spiritual people. Faith is the only reason both of us are upright and drawn air is because the Lord has made it so. And we're two people that really understand that. We have a great life despite our best efforts apart. So it's not hard for us to understand. This is a very transitory, what we're doing here, this whole walking on this rock like a bunch of ants. This is a very transitory deal. If you're a true Christian, if you really believe this is as bad as your existence is ever going to get for the most part. And it's pretty damn good. Let's be honest. Life's pretty cool for the most part. So we kind of, everything's kind of cake for us. So to that end, we were talking about, people hyperventilating, getting all bent out of shape about stuff. And we just get tickled when people go, oh yeah, the whole world's going to end. I'm like, spoiler alert, life is 100% fatal. The world for you is going to end, for all of us individually, is going to end at some point. So you better start warming up to the idea. And if you're going to spend all your time worrying about, when and how and what that, you're going to miss all the good stuff, man. Put that stuff by the wayside. You can do just enough to make sure you don't get smoked, in a stupid kind of not supposed to happen that early kind of way. That's fine. But, if you want that extra bite of chocolate cake, knock yourself out. You want that extra drink, knock yourself out. Provided you're not an addict and you can do that kind of thing. People that smoke, you smoke, that's fine. I don't care. Understand what you're getting yourself into, but hey, life is 100% fatal. So by the end of this week, I was trying to do stuff and remain, current and topical and let everybody know what was going on in the world. Some folks get, they don't get to read the news. I got plenty of time to do that sort of thing. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. But then by the end of this week, I'm like, man, enough of this bullshit. Let's do the fun stuff. So here we are. We have arrived. This was, speaking of the fun stuff, ran across this just this morning. I know we got a few gamers in here, and I thought this looked pretty good. Metal Gear Solid movie in the works. It's Sony. From the same directors that brought you Final Destination Bloodlines. Now, I did not see it. I'm not a fan of the Final Destination franchise. They've turned into just kind of much like Saw. The story kind of disappeared, and it's just how many cute, ingenious ways can we think of to kill people? I can read the news and get that. News has got enough Darwin Award participants. I don't need to go see it in a movie. I just pick up a newspaper, especially when you're in Florida. Oh my goodness. You get every single day. You get up and go, well, there's a new one. Never would have thought of that one before. Florida man dies jumping off roof into mouth of alligator on bet. Yeah, it's just, there's all kind of, man tries to smoke cigarette by, starting it up in the inside of a car and then sucking the smoke through the tailpipe, whatever it is. They're just, if you've ever been to Florida, you know what I'm talking about. There's some people out there that you just smile and nod and start betting with your buddies like, okay, over under, he makes it through the day. You guys like, I want a double sawbuck on under because that guy looks like he's got about 10 minutes left before he does something incredibly retarded. Usually the dudes that stroll in shirtless, shoeless, to a Dollar General, got a chicken under one arm, straight to the beer cooler for a case of Busch Light. You're like, oh, I just want to follow this dude just to see what's up. I did have plans for today, but when you're with a buddy or two and you go, who wants to change plans real quick? They look at this cat. He's talking to himself. You're like, yeah, all right. Let's for an hour, just for an hour. Let's see what goes. Anyway, back. Man, I miss Florida. God dang, that was a good time. All right, sidebar. I got to do the alligator thing. And every time it comes up, people talk about alligators. If you haven't lived in Florida, if you don't live in Florida, there's one time a year that you got to worry about alligators. At any given time, if you have a body of water on your property, you can see them. I don't care where in the state you live. I don't care how much concrete you got around you. If there's a body of water, if you have a pond, a pool, large puddle in your driveway, there's a chance you'll see an alligator. That's just how they roll. For the most part, they're super shy, very non-aggressive. They're big pussies is what they are. They don't want nothing to do with human beings. There is one time a year, and unfortunately it's right now, that is not true. It's mating season. It's a little early right now, May through June. That's when they get really, you gotta give them a wide berth at that point. And you'll know it when you see them because they got that mouth open hissing thing going on when you're like 100 yards away. there you go, okay, female. We stay away from that one. Because there's no other way to tell them apart that I'm aware of. Crocodiles are a different story. Crocodiles will kill you just because you looked at them wrong. And the way you tell a crocodile from an alligator in Florida is the crocodile is the one that's chasing you, probably with a butcher knife or a scattergun under one arm. Crocodiles are just, they're nasty. I don't care how you slice it. They hate human beings. They're hungry all the time. Got a bad attitude. That's not true. Actually, alligators are black. Their noses are shaped different. Crocodiles are pretty green. Their teeth overlapped. It's if I showed you pictures of the two of them, you'd look at them and go, oh, okay, that's pretty easy to tell apart. You go down to that Gatorama down on Highway 27. They have them on one side. You go down that rickety ass walkway I was talking about when I told the Gatorama story, where you go, are we gonna make it? I don't know, maybe. Alligators are on, as you're going out into the park, alligators are on the left, crocodiles are off to the right. And they keep them in separate ponds because they'll kill each other. That's how bad crocodiles are. They'll eat other crocodilians. They'll go for it. I don't care. There you go. Jerry's going to like, you know what? I'm going to pass up the alligators and the crocodiles and just stay in Ohio with the rednecks. That's about as dangerous as it gets there. Fair enough, Jerry. Fair enough. A lot of other things in Florida you got to be more concerned about. Bobcats, black bears, panthers, nah, not so much. I've actually run across panthers out in the wild, which is weird because they're supposed to be endangered, and I did not find that to be true. I ran into them where I was at. I was out in the middle of nowhere, so it makes a little bit more sense, but I ran into them all the time. Them stinking sandhill cranes. Oh, my goodness. They're protected, and they know they're protected, so they get around people. And you can only shoo them off just so much before they're on to the fact that you can't kill them. And if you've ever watched a sandhill crane tear up somebody's yard, that beak that they got on them, it's about a foot long. They can punch through a metal mailbox, no problem. I've seen it. They'll go after bugs. That beak will just go straight through one side. Whoops. I'm like, oh, okay. Don't get too close to them. So there you go. When the moment they call them a ribeye of the sky because they're pretty meaty, and apparently they're pretty tasty. I've never eaten one. Alligator's delicious. Don't know about the birds, but the next time you see Jay's half sandhill crane son, yeah, just know they're protected, and they know they're protected, so they're assholes. I always aim my car at them. Mrs. McCoy was slowed down. She's like, oh, we can't. They stand in the road and stare at you. She's like, we can't hit them. They're protected. I'm like, bullshit on that. Just like protesters, they're in the middle of the road. Anyway, Metal Gear Solid movie. Sorry about that weird Florida-specific rundown memory lane. I do know that the Final Destination Bloodlines movie made good money. People went and they laid down some pretty good cash for it. It did well. And the people that saw it, generally speaking, said, yeah, it's pretty good. It's a pretty good show. And I'm like, okay, maybe one day. And I'm holding out hope that one day we get a good video game adaptation of anything. I have yet to see it. Resident Evil, but we'll see what they do with Metal Gear Solid. Never been adapted for the screen, so Sony's got a good chance to do something right off the bat. Clearly Jim has never seen Solid Snake before. No, not quite Dan Crenshaw, Jim, but I'll give you, he does bear resemblance. Sure. Never really thought of it that way, but okay. He's smarter than Dan Crenshaw, I'll tell you that right off the bat. Director Zach Lepovsky and Adam B. Stein. So good luck. And Sony, one or two good Spider-Man movies in there. Now, not Madam Webbish kind of thing, but, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man. Okay. Hard to argue there. If somebody's going to do an adaptation, they might do it well. I haven't seen any of these other films that they've done. Like I said, I did not make Final Destination, but we'll see. So there's a little bit of good news. There's a little bit of new entertainment stuff. It could be 3 days old for all I know. I get to entertainment as best I can, but we'll find out. I thought this was funny. I wanted to do this. Oh man, I want to be the kind of person. I want to be the kind of ignorant that this is the biggest problem in my life. This is the most earth-shattering event that's ever happened in my life. I want to be this stupid. BAFTA apologizes unreservedly to Black and disabled communities for racial slur debacle after review finds number of structural weaknesses in its awards planning. Holy shit. A guy with Tourette's had an outburst during a quiet second in your award show, and months later you are still going on about that. They actually paid, I'm not going to read this entire story top to bottom, but I will tell you this. There is a company in here, and it's called Rise Associates, that did an investigation into this event, which to me was, I look at this and I go, okay, what exactly are you investigating? Here's your whole investigation. Guy with Tourette's syndrome was in your audience, said a word that everybody could hear during a quiet second in your show. 2 black fellas happened to be on stage at the time. Delroy Lindo and Michael B. Jordan. And not just any old 2 black fellas. I do know who they are. I'm aware they're actors. I get that. They happen to be on stage at the time. The word that this fella used, this fellow with Tourette's, Mr. Davidson, not an uncommon word for people with Tourette's. Okay, let's be clear. Is the N-word. Comes out of people with Tourette's a lot. That and other foul words. Okay. So they hired this Rise Associates company to do an investigation. Check this out. The review did not find evidence of malicious intent on the part of those involved in delivering the event. Yeah, no shit. Could have told you that one up front. And they said the event was not evidence of institutional racism. Okay. Well, bully for BAFTA then. Yay. Instead, it was highly critical of BAFTA's preparation. In particular, the review from Rise Associates focused on how BAFTA had not, you're going to love this, had not appreciated the, quote, nature of the risk associated with a live broadcast appearance. Early warning signs were not escalated, and the absence of a clear operational command structure limited BAFTA's ability to respond effectively once the incident occurred. I giggled my ass off the first time I read that. I have been in my right hand to God. I have been in tactical briefings for response situations to like barricaded shooters and that kind of thing, where our initial brief and then even our post briefs after event have not been that word salady on the what was going on. These guys act like they're storming a building where there's 17 hostage takers and 87 hostages in this room. I read that and just laughed my ass off. You're not storming a hill. Come on, man. Come on. So I get through the whole thing. I read it all the way down. It's all about, the review said, okay, here's you need to take a 3-fold approach in the future. And I'm like, okay, what? We're going to put up claymores out front that trip only on, Tourette's victims. We're going to barricade the doors so that we can, it's just like everybody that walks in is going to get a vest. Yeah, they paid money for this. You're going to love, hold on. I haven't even got to the best part, Jim. I haven't even got to the best part. You're going to love this. So I'm thinking, what's your tactical advice on preventing another situation like this from occurring at a BAFTA award show. It was like the Palestinian team that took the Israeli wrestling team hostage in the 72 Olympics. I'm like, get out. What are we doing? Improving escalation processes and the chain of information sharing around our awards ceremonies. Strengthening how we plan for and deliver access, inclusion, and support at our event. This is all, there's a thing online called a bullshit generator. Go do this. Go online, you get a chance, Google bullshit generator. What it does is it sits down and spits out phrases like all of this bullshit right here. I giggled. Oh, God, I laughed so hard. So I'm tickled, right? I go, okay, this is ridiculous. Here's me. I go straight to, who is this Rise Associates group of ding-dongs? I want to find out, what's the scam on these cats, right? What kind of Kim Bel-Air, Sweet Baby Inc. bullshit we got going on here, right? So I go look these cats up. Rise Associates. Now this is from gov.uk, so I'm not telling the story wrong. You Google them, you can find them. They're one of those. That's exactly what they are. They're a Kim Bel-Air kind of Sweet Baby Inc. sort of wokey, catchphrase company that comes in, tells you how scummy you are because you don't adhere to woke principles that you get. They'd come in and DEI your company up. Well, here's the funny part. On gov.uk, I got to hold on a second. I got to change the music real quick before we get to the punchline on this. Rise Associates Limited, gov.uk. They got their registered office address. Here's the funny part. Look over at right at the top, at the right up here. I don't know how to work them. Oh, here we go. Do this. Dissolved on December 2025. They literally, one of their last acts as a corporation was to bilk BAFTA out of what I'm sure was a couple $100,000. And then slam the door shut, chain it up, walk away. I am in the wrong business. The story did not tell how much money that BAFTA spent on that ridiculous exercise. If I had to guess, it was minimum $100,000. Minimum. Probably 2 or 3 times that. And it had to last all of maybe a month and a half. Because that didn't happen that long ago. And my guess is they were already dissolving the company before they took that on, and said, like, quick, get that on board real quick, and then let's get their money and get out of here. I am stymied. No wonder Hollywood is completely lost. And there's a lot of businesses that do that. I don't know how much money BAFTA's got. If they're anything like the Oscars, it ain't that much. So, man, they got soaked. And good. I hope they wasted $1 billion on that. I hope they wasted a gajillion dollars. I hope that absolutely cracks BAFTA. I hope they're flat cracked right now. They're like, well, no award ceremony. Problem solved. We can't have an award ceremony anymore because we spent $80 gajillion on that thing by Rise, and then they folded up, and now we don't have any money for an award show. Great. Screw off. I go looking on Steam every now and again. Nice. You like that segue? I go. Sorry, I couldn't. I was just looking at the screen. I'm like, hurry up and get this out before we got to roll up here because I want to sit around and bullshit for a little bit after this. Steam has deals where I'm a PC guy by trade. I don't have any consoles. I got the Steam Deck. I got tired of the Switch and the Xbox and PS Part Pi or whatever they're up to now. Get tired of all that stuff. People go, yeah, but they don't crash on the Xbox. Bullshit. I had an Xbox that crashed all the time. Had that baby for about a year and went, nope, thanks, bye. Anyway, you go on Steam every now and again. Steam likes to hand out a little something. You can get games for free. But keep forever. Or until they Yeah, quick plug. We're not monetized, so I can do this. I will do a professional endorsement for Steam. I love Gabe Newell. I love that he tells a lot of countries go screw when they try and hit him with stuff. I love that he told the state of New York, you can kiss my fat, hairy ass, because they got a lawsuit going with him about gambling. I love when he just turns off entire countries. Like, oh, you don't like our service? Okay, bye. He's done that to the Netherlands once or twice, Belgium. He's like, oh, you want to sue me? Okay, well, that's easily fixed. Just turn Steam off for about a month. Then they go, okay, we'll drop the suit. And he's like, yeah, that's what I thought. Anyway, I love the Steam Deck. Super easy. I get that. I have a giant TV that I hook it up to, use that as the monitor for it, because the actual screen on it, my eyes are so old, I can play it. I prefer to play it on a 70-something inch TV. It just makes it a lot easier for me. Get a remote Bluetooth controller and go to town. That's kind of my jam. That's where I'm at. So Steam Deck, I'll promo these guys. However, let me do this. So I had to bring this up. When you're getting games from them, especially in this particular instance on the freebie stuff, I'm a big Stardew Valley fan. I ain't that twitchy. It's enough to keep me entertained. I think it's cute. I like low stress stuff. If I'm just going to sit around and kill time and just enjoy a video game, I've gotten to the point where I'm like, okay, I don't want to bang my head. I don't want to, try and eat a brick building here. I don't want to bang my head against the wall. You're, lost souls and all that other shit that you got to fight the boss 87 times. Stardew Valley's player character, if that's your thing, that's how they hook me. I'm like, ooh, Stardew Valley, I kind of like that. So they get back and they said there's a knockoff called Graveyard Keeper, and typically it's $20 on Steam, but for a limited time you get it for free on Steam till April 13th. I'm like, oh, cool. So I start reading down. Here's what you gotta watch out for. You got your cool, it gives you the screenshots, and you go, oh man, that looks neat. Okay, so it looks very much like Stardew Valley. A little bit different setting. And then you go to, I don't think they have it on here. That's a different game. But they have a link in here, and you click on the link. Let me find it real quick because this is kind of important. Transition, premium game model, Steam's free to keep. Okay, here it is. Claim Graveyard Keeper. Boy, I was almost going to Gary length dead air right there. Sorry about that. So you get this. You click on that link, and it does this. I got to put this one away. Take that down. Bring this up. Oh, doggone it. I got to get rid of that. Okay. Now we put this up. All right. So you click on it, it shows you this, and you go, okay, that's great. Here's the, shows you a little bit of gameplay, a little movie trailer. Go down here and it says, get Graveyard Keeper. Here's the problem. This is all the promo stuff for Graveyard Keeper 2. You go to this other Graveyard Keeper. That's Graveyard Keeper 1 that's free right now. And it's a match 3 game. Okay. I'm not saying don't go there. I'm not saying don't go check it out. It's free if it's the wrong one. Dump it and you're good to go. Just know every now and again you run into that on the freebies on Steam. And the only reason I wanted to do that so hard is if it's free, it's free. If it's not the one that they're advertising, then you go, wait a minute, that was the earlier version. Now, that happens a lot with sequels because the Graveyard Keeper 2 is one of those TBD release dates. So they're getting you hooked on the first one to kind of pre-sell the second one. See where I'm going with that? So just know you're going to get every now and again you run into that, and you got those people go, oh, it's a bait and switch. Not really. What happened was they put the first one up there for free to get you hooked on the second one. I will defend Steam left and right because here's their other good thing that they do. Your return policy is infinitely better than any other return policy for any other platform, and Steam will eventually, well, I don't say eventually, they will occasionally run into a scam situation and just Steam will refund you the money, and then they go after whoever the dev was that ran this. The day after, or what was that one that came out? Somebody in chat set me straight on that ridiculous debacle piece of trash. I think it was like the day after or the day before, something like that, and it was supposed to be a persistent MMO zombie shooter world, and it just turned out to be this big pile of trash that these two Korean brothers were scamming the shit out of everybody on. Made a whole bunch of money, and then shut the game down after a day and a half. Steam, old Gabe Newell stepped in and said, "Nah, we ain't doing that, boys." And he handed the money back to everybody that had it, and they shut them down. And Steam is really good about that kind of thing. You know what I did? So now that we got all the news BS out of the way, let's bullshit about games and such. Dinkum, Marianne, you put Dinkum up there in the chat the other day. I did go there and I checked it out, saw the gameplay trailer. I put it in my wish list, and that's just a place that I store all my stuff where I go, okay, not today, but I'm going to get back to it eventually. It is going on this weekend. I got through a bunch of other stuff that I wanted to go check out, and I ran into, I'm up to the Dinkum level. That goes on this weekend. I'll probably put it on tomorrow morning and then play it a little bit. Maybe Sunday. Sunday's usually my big gaming day because Saturday night we got that show. I got to get everything ready. I'm wrestling with AI, trying to get backgrounds nailed down, and if it doesn't do it, I'm just going to say screw it, and we'll just do some stills and throw them up as we go, which I kind of like to do anyway, because as you're going through a movie and telling the story, I like to show the picture of the scenes that I'm talking about, kind of trip everybody's memory. The Steam Machine, I will tell you, Zach, I haven't looked into it yet, to be honest with you. I will say this, if I was ever going to get a platform type vehicle back, I trust Steam to the point where that would be the one I would do, depending on the price point. I would do a Switch 2 if it weren't for the price point, and I'm unsure about the backwards capability, the backwards it's the phrase I'm looking for, compatibility, with older games. So I don't do that. They have gotten to the point with me, Nintendo, where I'm on you and me are going to have to sit apart from each other for a little while. I'm not real wild on their pricing scheme, and I know plenty of other people are going to pay it, and my wallet ain't going to make a difference to them one way or the other. They don't know I exist, and they never will, and they probably don't give a shit. That's fine. That's just something that I do, and I spread that word, and if other people do it, maybe eventually someday that'll happen. I don't delude myself to thinking that Nintendo gives two shits about my opinion, especially my age demographic. I'm way, way outside of their target audience. They couldn't care less. Like, you're over 55, brother. We couldn't care less what you have to say about our games. I go, okay, that's fine. Nor our movies, nor any of that. And I go, okay. But if you've ever spent any time with Real Life Fake Wizard, he says this continuously and succinctly, and I repeat it as much as possible. I love that younger guys have this. I used to think it was just me being an old crotchety dude, but he's a younger fella and he gets that out. Vote with your wallet, and vote staunchly and continuously. Stop buying trash games. People have this FOMO. Here's my take on that. That FOMO thing, people, we got to get this, got to get that. This happened with games. I noticed there was a period in here where this happened, and it kind of wore off, and people jumped back on the FOMO train. Those younger folks, but people get enough crap games, and eventually they'll stop. It turned into a thing when I was buying PC games at one point. It's late 90s, where it was okay. The game will come out, but it won't be really good until we get our first patch out, which will be about 6 months down the road. And people just stop. They're like, bullshit on that. You get back to me when this is complete. You get back to me when this is done. I ain't buying a half-baked piece of nothing. We're going to run a little bit long in the daily. I'm going to back up and see where they at. I don't know. What are we gonna do here? Drop. Okay. Oh, Marvel drop Punisher. All right. I'll wrap up here in a little bit, and we'll see how they go. But they're always going to be late and gay, so I got a couple minutes. Anyway, you gotta stop with the buying things right out of the gate. So I do. I'm glad to see that Wizards getting that message out there. I hope that people eventually, Switch 2 comes out and it's however many $100, and I look at it and go, that's a bit steep. I'm gonna wait on that one. Nintendo never puts anything on sale. Well, there's first time for everything. The $80 games, people go, oh, that's the way the gaming's going. It's not going to change. That's where the new price point's going to be at. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Enough people stop, and eventually they got no choice. But Sunday will be that'll be the day I bust Dinkum out and play that all day long. Which is good, because Stardew Valley, I'm at a point now where I'm like, okay, I think I've done just about most of the stuff. You can always go in and polish it off and do more and get everything cleaned up and put your farm together all pretty and all that. That's fun. That kind of stuff's relaxing to me. I go, okay, I'm going to dig up this whole farm over here and put it over on this spot. Change that. That cute little stuff's kind of fun to me. Told my daughter I was playing Stardew Valley. She goes, really? And I go, yeah. She goes, well, where's your farm? You get to talk about how your farm's doing. What are you farming? How far in the caves have you got? And all that kind of fun stuff. And it's fun getting to get together with your teenager on some stuff, especially when you're an older dude like me, man. That's fun. Shooter stuff, I will play. I'm okay at it. I've tried Fortnite out a little bit. It's fun. I don't know that that's going to keep me around for a long time. I had some people trying to talk me into Arc Raiders. Might give that a whack. Yeah. Crept into console games. It's frog in a pot, man. They just keep going up and up and up. And you're like, when do we draw the line on this? And I'm old enough to remember when Atari did this a million years ago. My parents said, Christmas was always huge because it was Christmas and birthdays. You're like, oh, we can ask for the new Atari game that's coming out. And they start at, $12.99, and then they go up to $15.99. Pretty soon it's $22, and your parents are freaking out. $22 in the 80s ago, you could do a whole weekend at $22. Not anymore. You can't. You spend 8 hours downloading a patch. That's bullshit. Get back to me when it's finished, man. I miss that about the old Blizzard. I tell you that. When it's done. I love that phrase. A lot of people hated that. And I was bad. I'm an impatient person. But that's one of the things the whole world needs to learn, man. It's the younger generation nowadays is like, this instant gratification thing, you guys got it good, but it's ruining you. You gotta learn to wait a little bit. You gotta learn to back off and let something cook. Because when it comes out, you don't have to download patches every 2 weeks to get it to work right. It just works right. Arc Raiders looks fun. I watch some people play it. It looks like X-Wing's got a crew that they play some Arc Raiders every now and again, and I look at that and go, that looks like a pretty good time. Zach gives it a thumbs up. Can't stop playing it. Well, I tell you what, I had a period in my life when I got hooked on some stuff. Jedi Outcast, the one where Kyle Katarn made his. It was Jedi Outcast 2, I believe it was, where he, had to go and he rolls into the cantina, and there's a Chiss bartender. And he says, what can we do for you, Jedis? And he says, I'm no Jedi. I'm just a guy with a lightsaber. And the Chiss says, okay, Mr. Just a Guy. I miss Kyle Katarn, too. Where'd that dude go? What happened to Kyle Katarn, man? If you're going to do a Star Wars story, hit that dude up. I always loved him. The reluctant Jedi. Boy, he hated me. Like, yeah, I can use the Force, but it weirds me out. I ain't down with that. He was always real cynical and shitty to the other characters. I'm like, that's my dude right there. That's my anti-hero kind of thing. We're gonna kick that around tomorrow night too. Anti-heroes. Those are the kind of fellas I wanted to. Like, yeah, I can play that. And most of the stuff comes out now as ARPGs. Well, what we used to call hack and slash. I'll try any hack and slash once. I love that shit. You know, you create a tune and then you figure out which, you get it down to 3. You push 3 buttons, you can clear the whole game eventually. You just go around hunting loot. Man, that's my jam. Let me go around and blow stuff up with cool lightning blasts all over the place and then just pick up gear. Then sit there for 5 minutes and crunch numbers and go, okay, putting on that helmet. Let's go back to work. I'll play that all day long. I got into the spot with that Jedi Knight, Jedi Outcast a long time ago. I'd get up at 4 in the morning. I had to be to work at like 7. I'd get up at 4 in the morning just so I could play an hour or 2 before I had to get going because that was all the gaming I was going to get to do that day. Then pretty soon, my significant other at the time, like, what are you doing down there on the internet? Like, playing Jedi Knight. You're talking to chicks online. No, I'm not. I couldn't give 2 shits about other chicks online. I'm busy trying to get Kyle Katarn where he needs to be. Solve this problem. No Jedi, only Sith. Jedi on the streets and a Sith in the sheets. That's what's up. I don't. You know the thing, okay, I'm a geek. We're geeking out. We've gone long. We're going to keep geeking out. Hell with it. We're going to keep going. We know all about Black Snake. I don't think we need to watch daily. Punisher's going to get, yeah, they'll do their thing. They'll screw it up. We're going to stick around here and geek out for a little bit because it's Friday and that's my jam. Boy, you ain't lying, Zach. Man, they take up a lot of space. That's bad coding right there. The Star Wars, the game that I was playing probably the most out of, that should be on a t-shirt. It is. I stole it. I didn't make that up. I stole that. Full disclosure. But it's pretty applicable. I'm a pretty gregarious fella out and about town. You get me at home. You get me in a back room somewhere with a couple of whiskeys in me, boy, I get ornery. They have cutscenes in the Old Republic, that online version that EA's got out. I played that. I played the hell out of that thing. And I liked it. It was a little janky in spots. And it was one of those, EU kind of things. You kind of make up your own story. And they didn't go too far down the road with canon. You kind of make up your own deal as you go along. I'm okay. That's fine. I don't get too twisted about that. But man, the cutscenes on that, whew, they were good. It was good action. I stopped playing it, but I kept a version of it around just so as I could keep. Let's change the channel before we get crazy. There we go. I kept a version of it on my hard drive just so I could go back whenever they had an update to it. They'd usually have a new cutscene come out with it. I just wanted to go look at the new cutscene. It'd automatically download. I'd check out the cutscene, and if it looked good, I'd go play it for a little bit. Then EA started getting all weird and woke, and I'm like, nah, you can keep that shit. Them and Blizzard, I walked away from Blizzard. I'm like, I'm done. They did Dragonflight on WoW. It was the one that I took a look at. I demoed it. Literally got 2 missions in, and they had some woke bullshit in one of the mission stories, and I'm like, bye. I dumped that in a heartbeat. Glad I didn't spend any money on that shit. Blizzard ain't gonna make it. I'll tell you that right now. With the Diablo Immortal and D4 is just trash. I tried it. You can keep it. I ain't interested. And WoW is just done deal. It's cooked. They had another update, expansion, they call them, outside of Dragonflight. That crashed hard. Dragonflight crashed hard. I'm like, you kissed my ass. When they roll the whole team over, you're never going to capture that magic again. Something I think old people, especially like me, old folks think, someday it'll get better. Nah, you ain't ever going to repeat that. You are never going to replicate the lightning in a bottle that was Blizzard North. The people that brought you D1, D2, that ain't going to happen again. Warcraft on Dark Tides, Warcraft 1, 2, and 3. You ain't never. Sid Meier's original Civilization. I've seen so many Civ iterations, they just keep screwing it up more and more every time they do it. I'm like, nah, I ain't doing that shit. I realize you get old enough, you go, nah, you're just going to enjoy the good original stuff because you're never going to get that back. You might get some good new stuff, and it'll be similar, but you're never going to capture the magic. It's a problem with sequels. They keep trying to reinvent the magic. I'm like, nah, you got to move on to the new stuff. Do something else. And we're going to do that. One of these days, we're going to get together. And we're going to sit down and write out that Quint prequel because I'm getting kind of excited about that idea. Might send an email to a few people and see what they think about that. StarCraft. Oh, yeah, man. Oh, how many hours you burn on StarCraft? My goodness. I'm getting zerged. Oh, that was the good stuff. Anyway, all right. I've rattled on long enough for Friday. We got stuff to do. We got whiskey to drink. I'm going to get too many. Yeah, that ain't no joke. Boy, if I had to sit down and if I had to track how many hours I spent on Warcrack, I started on the OG Warcrack. Me and my brother were playing, and he'd call me every now and again. Where you at? Hey, I'm over in Stranglethorn Vale. He's like, all right, let me get on. I'll get over there real quick. When you had to level to 60 before you could get a mount back in those days, man, that was good action right there. Many, many hours spent on that bad boy. Anyway, all right, I'm gonna get out of here. Let's go get a couple of sodas in us, and see if we can get a gaming stream going here in a little bit. I think I'm gonna bust out Last Epoch and get on OBS and see how that rolls. Give me about 30 minutes or so, if even that. I might just bust out here in a little bit. But I'm going to turn StreamYards off, and we'll go check out Daily for a little bit and see what they got going, and I'm going to get back on and do some gaming. In the meantime, God bless y'all. Have a fantastic day. I hope everybody has a fantastic weekend. Do not miss us tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Central, 8 o'clock Eastern. Me, Spider Unlimited, Darth Yeager, and the Canadian Colossus, Cole Hauser. We're going to tear up some William Friedkin films. We're going to sit down and examine somebody that I would consider to be one of Hollywood's more unsung directors, and take a look at some of his absolute bangers. And he did some real bad ones too, but we're not going to cover that shit. Anyway, have a good one. Be good to yourselves. Be good to other people. Laugh at everything. Be good to yourself. Do something nice for yourself this weekend, once a day, and be good to other people, even those that we don't particularly feel like being good to, because that's what the good Lord told us to do. I'll see y'all a little bit later on. God bless y'all. Have a good one.
I'm just about done here. I never did know your name.
Yes, you do. Take care.
Yes, sir, Captain.
Well, that's great. That's just fucking great, man. Now what the fuck are we supposed to do? We're some real pretty shit now, man.
You finished?
It's the end of the road.
You bastards! Between Glamorgan and Yorkshire, the Yorkshire bowler Nicholson took 8 wickets for 3 runs. Glamorgan were all out for 36 and therefore won the match by an innings and 7 runs. Weather for tomorrow will be cloudy with occasional outbreaks of rain. And that is the end of the news.
And now? Can we go home now?